Men's Warehouse.
Fox News Channel is on Sirius XM. Listen live on channel 114 now.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, after weeks of stalemate, the president and Congress both appear to be pretty darn close to solving this shutdown problem.
Well, but our next guest says if you put the 40 members of Congress under 40, the age of 40, in a room together, well, they'd be able to solve the nation's problems in just 24 hours. So we're joined now by Illinois Congressman Aaron Schock. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Mike and Anna. Good to be with you.
So what's behind your belief in this, that these 40 under 40 could do this, I mean, overnight, essentially?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, the members who've gotten elected at a younger age are really focused on the long-term problems facing this country. We're really tired of Washington, D.C.'s focus on the 3-month problem, the 6-month problem, the 1-year problem. Nobody's really talking about what are we going to do for 5 and 10 and 15 years out. And that's really what's driving our debt, are these long-term entitlements and liabilities. And the second thing is, the newer members of Congress are very ambitious by nature. If they got to Congress in their 30s, in some cases their 20s, and they want to get problems solved. They don't really want to be here for their entire careers. They don't want to be here for their entire lives. And they're much less ideologically rigid. In other words, they don't think they're going to get everything they want all the time. We have divided government. We're going to have to make a deal between both sides to get anything done. And that's why I think if you put some of the younger members in a room and lock this up, we could actually come up with a deal that would actually pass.
You know, when I first heard about this, as an older human, I got irritated with you, Representative. But then, you know, I looked at it. There are 40 members who are 40 or under, 20 Republicans, 20 Democrats. I think you're right. They probably all went to D.C. because they wanted to change. They were tired of the way things were going.
You know, and they're really diverse. I mean, not only in ethnicity, but in gender makeup. We have stay-at-home moms that ran for Congress, a lot of small business people that ran for Congress, folks who really, on both sides, ran because they were fed up with the direction of the country, know that this kicking the can down the road and inability to solve the problem, specifically our debt, is really just a tax on the next generation of Americans, their children, themselves. And if you're in your 30s or 40s or even your 50s, you're going to be here for a while, Lord willing. You're going to be dealing with the debt that's racked up over the next 30 years. And we can look all across states and municipalities that have huge amounts of debt. And what do we know? They raise their taxes to pay for that debt. So more debt is really just a deferred tax on the next generation of Americans. And it's why younger people, this is what I talk to kids on college campuses all about, that they're the ones that are going to be paying for Washington, D.C.'s inability to deal with these problems.
Yeah.
Well, Representative Schock, what do you think about, is it just the shutdown and the debt ceiling? Do you think that's the crisis that could be solved, or do you think the GOP would be able to get what they wanted out of this to either defund or delay Obamacare?
Well, I think the shutdown right now, the immediate CR and funding of the government, is really all about the long-term problems. We want the president to negotiate with us on these long-term problems. It's not just about funding the government for the next year. It's really saying, Mr. President, you said when you ran for office that you wanted to cut the debt in half. It's nearly doubled in the 4 years you've been in office. It's time to stop the rhetoric and get a real dose of reality and start solving these problems. And so whether it's fixing Social Security and Medicare, whether it is making our tax code more competitive in the world so we're the favored place to invest, these are things that we can do that help today, but more importantly put us on a path towards greatness for our country so that our next generation and those of us that are younger aren't going to be paying this debt for years to come in higher taxes.
I like this guy. He's fresh. He's a little whippersnapper. Go kick in some doors.
Check out what magazine cover was it that you were on? Men's Health.
Men's Health. Mike, you could come to Congress and be a young congressman. You're young. You're young relative to Washington, D.C. too.
Thank you. I'll be down there. I'll see you in a few days then. Thank you very much.
20 minutes after the hour now. Still ahead on Fox and Friends, a luxury cruise turns into a life-saving mission. 3 men pulled from the water after their boat overturned. We'll hear from the man who heard their cries for help and made the ship turn around.